Gilead Indians are looking to get back to respectability on the football field. They have 2 wins in 2021, and they look for win number 3 tonight at Centerburg. It's the Trojans, the Indians, and the Knox Community Hospital pregame show coming up next.
You want top joint replacement surgery. Knox. You want top joint replacement surgery. Knox Community Hospital delivers with 3 fellowship-trained surgeons and coveted national rankings for 4 years running, all to help you beat the pain and heal faster. At Knox Community Hospital, we're elevating care.
When you're on the go and need a fix, both for your body and your vehicle, stop in at Webb's Marathon and Automotive, celebrating 20 years of service at 164 East Main Street in Centerburg. Family owned and operated with premium products and services. So make it Webb's and get what you need to keep your engines running.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to week number 7 of the 2021 high school football season from Centerburg as the Trojan host the Mount Gilead Indians. Bruce Wyrick, and we've covered a lot of games and been to a lot of different places. One, in my 30 years of calling games, this is the first time that I've ever done a Mount Gilead football game. And secondly, it's the first time I've ever been down here to Centerburg. And I have to tell you, if you have never been to Centerburg for a football game, this is old school high school football.
And it's fun time, Brian. And one of the exciting thing is I used to coach against Mount Gilead. When I was a head coach at Ontario, Mount Gilead was in our conference. But for coming down to Centerburg, you are truly right. First time I've ever been here. And before the game started, you and I were walking the field. And it's a grass field, which I love to start with. I love playing in the grass and the mud if it gets dirty. And I like the field. I really like the layout of the field. When you look down at the southeast entrance, the end zone goes up a hill a little bit. It looked like they took the best they could and just put the field here, but that's called home field advantage.
Well, the grass is a little long, too. You know, That's what they used to do back in the day to slow some of the faster teams down. They let the grass grow a little bit. It's just got that old feel to it. Now, the only thing to our detriment at the moment is the sun is right in our eyes, but give it about 25 minutes to a half hour, and we're going to have a beautiful setting here at Centerburg High School.
Yeah, when you have these football stadiums that go north and south, you're going to get that sun every evening, and right now it's blinding us. And the other thing I like about this field, everybody uses it in Centerburg. I mean, it's laid out for soccer, it's laid out for junior high games, high school games, so these fields take a beating. But my hat off to Centerburg. The field's in really good shape. I think it looks good. We're going to have a great game tonight, Brian.
Centerburg is 3-2 overall. They're 1-2 in the KMAC. Mount Gilead is 2-4. They're 0-3 in the KMAC. So they're still looking for their first conference win under first-year head coach Mike Reed. And I talked to him yesterday, and he was the defensive coordinator over at Highland for several years. And he told me, in fact, he was about ready to retire. He then got the call from Mount Gilead. He played at Mount Gilead, and there was just kind of that draw for him to come back home. And I remember, and as we're talking, I asked him about a culture change. I mean, they have gone through some lean times over the last several years. They've only had one 500 record in the last 10 years. They've had one winning record in the last 20. This program has really struggled. And I asked him, how do you change the culture? And the first thing he said was the kids want to be a part of that change. And it took me back to, I don't know if you remember, when Baker Mayfield was drafted by the Browns. Everyone kind of laughed and said, oh, you're going to go to Cleveland. And he had that no-nonsense look on his face, and he goes, I want to be part of what turns this franchise around. And that's the attitude that Mike Reed and his players have as he begins his era as the head coach.
And one of the most important things is, and you're right about this, is your players' ideas. And what you need at a school the size of Mount Gilead and the size of Centerburg, you need a good 2 or 3 classes in a row. You need good senior leadership with some athletic ability. You need to have a junior class underneath to fill the gaps that those seniors can't fill. And then you need a good sophomore feeder program coming in. When you get 3 classes in a row that believe in themselves and they work hard to make things happen, you can bring it back.
He said he's got some leaders on this team, and he is seeing some potential, and they were 0-4 last year because of COVID. And he said that motivated a lot of the upperclassmen because they didn't get an opportunity to play last year.
Yeah, it's a heartbreak, and I'm really happy that, we're right now, knock on wood, we've been having a good season. I know Centerburg had a problem. They had to bail out of a game because of COVID. Somebody was infected. They found out about it. They were on the sidelines and talking to some of the coaches. It wasn't a player, but because they were in contact with that person, the game got shut down by the health department. And that's a little bit of motivation. These Centerburg players, they've lost the game. They want to make it up.
Now, they're 3-2 overall. They're 1-2 in the KMAC. And talking to Andy Colella, he told me that they, as far as the KMAC race is concerned, they're going to need a lot of help. So that's something that's not in their control. He said what is in their control is the playoffs. And right now, that is what their focus is, taking it one game at a time and getting ready for the postseason. Because now with the expanded playoff field, more teams have an opportunity. And right now, they're 12th out of 16 teams. So if the season ended today, they would be in. So their focus now is getting ready for that postseason.
It's like a second season anymore. I mean, you play the first season, all you got to do is be 500, and you can make it into the playoffs, and then you can start all over again. And that's what's nice.
There you see Centerburg taking the field in their home gray jerseys with the white pants, the gray helmets, the white numbers and letters trimmed in red. And Mount Gilead taking the field now in their traveling white jerseys with the purple pants. And I'll tell you what, living in Mount Gilead, I'm excited for Mike Reed and what this program can become. And I went to their practice yesterday, and you can sense an optimism. They are putting in the work. And he was very, very straightforward. It's going to take some time, but they're trying to lay the foundation and trying to turn this program around.
And the big thing I like, I can read the numbers tonight, Brian. Both uniforms have bright numbers on them. I'm not going to miss a play tonight.
Centerburg won the opening coin toss. They deferred to the second half, so Mount Gilead will get the football to start things off here in Week 7 as they look for their third win of the 2021 season. Last week they lost. They were defeated by East Knox, did Mount Gilead 49-10. Garrett George had 138 yards on 15 carries. They ran for 199 yards and only passed for 31.
You do what you got to do. If the run game goes for you, you run it down somebody's throat. If they can't run it, you throw it.
Elijah Chafin back to receive for Mount Gilead. Going to be taken by Paul Butterman. Butterman still on his feet up to about the 39-yard line, so that's where Mount Gilead will take over 1st and 10. The offensive starters for the Indians, they are led by their quarterback, Carter Keenan. Garrett George, their leading rusher, is the halfback. The leading receiver in the KMAC, Paul Butterman, joins Owen High and Elijah Chafin as the receivers, along with Gabe Simpson. Up front, it's Fishers, Sayers, Troy Likens, Judah Reed, and Justa Dettinger. They'll spot the ball at the 40. And the Indians will stay on the ground and get maybe a yard. The defensive starters for Centerburg, they're led up front by the senior Alex Johnson, Cam Alloway, Mike Kaiser, also starting on that line along with Tanner Ratliff. The linebackers, Tanner Hott, you'll hear his name a lot tonight, along with Kalen Lemaster, the backfield Parker, Tursky, Tyler Johnson, and the Rings brothers, Jared and Jesse. Look to air it out. They're trying to go to Butterman on the near side. It's incomplete. Mason Tursky back on coverage. It's now 3rd down and 9.
Nice pass route. They ran a fly route right up the sideline. Right now, though, that receiver's turning back, looking right into the sun. Hard ball to come down with.
The Indians run the spread, and this is the first year that they've run this, so they're learning a new offense, learning a new head coach. Keenan feels the pressure. A flag is down. He lofts it over. It's caught, but this might be coming back. Let's see what the penalty is. Paul Butterman making the reception.
Looks like we got a holding call. Yep, bringing it back.
First down catch to Butterman down the near sideline. That wipes that off the board. And the first penalty of the ball game assessed against Mount Gilead.
I'll tell you, I like what the quarterback did, Brian. The pocket kind of broke down. He worked his way out of the pocket. He kept looking upfield. And if you're going to rebuild a team and start it at quarterback is a good position to start with. I thought he did an outstanding job. They're getting away from the pressure, looking downfield, throwing the ball to the open receiver. Holding penalty hurts them.
3rd down now and 19. Mike Reed excited about his young quarterback. He's a junior. He'll have him for another year. Keenan back to throw on the slant. It's caught. Still well short of the first down. Owen High coming up with the reception. A couple of yards shy of the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down in a punting situation. So the penalty really hurts Mount Gilead on that first drive. Otherwise, they're in Centerburg territory.
And I'll tell you what I like. They're throwing the ball tonight. They threw the ball, had 2 good passes. Both of them completed. And as you said, the holding penalty hurt them bad.
Hunter Parker back to receive the kick for Centerburg. So the Trojans should have pretty good field position on their first possession. First kick angle to the far side of the field. It's going to take a Mount Gilead roll and die at about the 22-yard line. The offensive starters for Centerburg, they are led by Jack Gregory, their quarterback, and he is a good one. The running back, Tyler Johnson. Kalen Lemaster is the wing. The receivers, Alex Johnson, Jared Rings, and Hunter Parker. Up front, it's Mike Kaiser, Tanner Hott, Lanthorne, Hankinson, and Cam Alloway. A couple sophomores on that starting offensive line.
Centerburg. Make sure I say that right tonight.
Jack Gregory out of the shotgun. First play of the game, a running play to Johnson, and Johnson breaks tackles up to the 34-yard line. The defensive starters for Mount Gilead, they're led up front by Troy Likens, along with Kryn and Dettinger, the linebackers, Ben Witt, Kean Davis, Garrett George, and Nick Garvey. The backfield, High, Chafin, Butterman, and Van Noose. 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line of Centerburg. Gregory swings it out. Caught. But not much after the catch as Carson Van Hoos came up to make the quick tackle on Jared Rings.
Mount Gilead, they're going to have to tighten things up a little bit. Doing a nice job. Centerburg, offensive line, I can't express, doing a great job opening up some seams.
Rings goes in motion to the far side. Gregory fields the low snap, but LeMaster with the carry. And he has stood up at about the 42-yard line. A flag is down in the backfield. And it'll be a hold, and that will go against Centerburg. So both teams with one penalty early, both holding penalties.
And holding penalties stop the Mount Gilead drive. Let's see if Centerburg can overcome the holding penalty. A holding penalty is a 10-yard penalty. If it's behind the line of scrimmage, it goes from the line of scrimmage. And here we go, 2nd down and 17.
Gregory swings it out. And that's LeMaster unable to really get anything beyond the 28-yard line. Mount Gilead does a pretty good job swarming to the football. Garrett George over to help out on the play. It's 3rd down and long. I asked Andy Colella about this Mount Gilead team, and the thing he notices, he says they come and they compete. Gregory lofts it up, right side, has a receiver. It's caught in a 1st down the near sideline to Jesse Rings. So there you see the arm of Gregory. Has all kinds of time, and that's a tough throw across his body. And a 1st and 10 at the Mount Gilead 32-yard line.
And that's how we recover from a holding penalty. Throw it up the sidelines.
Rings goes in motion, far side. Pitch back to LeMaster, breaks a tackle. And he's going to dance into the end zone from 32 yards out, and Centerburg is on the board. Some missed tackles, and he runs through, gets to that 2nd level, and is untouched into the end zone.
And I tell you, it was a nice play. A little quick pitch to the outside. He's letting his offensive line get into the defense, getting position on him, and he's just picking a seam and running to the goal line.
Extra point try by Dominic Vargo is up and good, and Centerburg with 8:32 to go in the opening quarter. They take a 7-0 lead as we take another look at the touchdown.
And the offenses that these teams run today, Brian, it is unbelievable what they can do off of them. You know, you have your inside runs, you have your outside runs, but when the quarterback sits back there in the shotgun position, it's unlimited what he can do. And he gave a little quick pitch to the outside. The offensive line gave him time to get into their blocks. And then that back, he's a good back. He's got some speed on him. He just picked the seam and took off for the goal line.
5th touchdown of the season on the ground for LeMaster. And Mount Gilead now playing from behind with 8.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Butterman from the 10. And Butterman up to the 26-yard line, 16 yards on the return, and that's where Mount Gilead will take over now, trailing 7-0.
Nice coverage by Centerburg. The outside contained man would not let him get outside. They boxed everything in. They funneled him where the defensive players were and made a nice play.
Paul Butterman is one of those guys that really does everything for this team. One of the leaders. Leads the KMAC in receptions. Keenan hands off. And a first down on the ground across the 45-yard line.
Davis on the carry.
Kean Davis, the sophomore, and he's got first down yardage up to the 46-yard line.
And that's what you like. You like the young runner breaking into the open, almost got away. Shoestring tackle brings him down. First down of the night for Mount Gilead.
Chafin. And he is bumped behind the line of scrimmage. Nice pursuit by Jared Rings.
Chafin on the carry. Second line, number 10, Jared Rings.
Nice defense by Centerburg. Mount Gilead tried to run into the boundary. Centerburg sends more people to the boundary. Then Mount Gilead could block. 3-yard loss.
Second down and 14 from the 42. They fake the pitch to Chafin, and they stay on the ground to Davis, and this time Centerburg is ready. Kalen LeMaster in on the stop.
Second by Merkland. Brings up 3rd and 13 for the Indians.
That was Garrett George on the carry, excuse me.
Nice little counter play coming back. Tried to get the open seam, but Centerburg was not fooled by the fake.
Got a yard, third down and 13. Keenan rolls to his right, set, caught. That's Butterman, and his progress, let's see where they give him. They give him yardage to the 44-yard line, or just shy, and this is going to be close.
Boy, this is one of those early calls in the ball game. Do you go for it? The last thing you really want to do is give Centerburg the ball with a short field. But this is where you build confidence in your football team. This is where your offensive line starts to develop. As a coach, you got to start having that confidence, and it was a first down.
Well, and Butterman is the guy that Keenan has confidence in. As I said, he leads the KMAC in receptions. And there he comes up with a big first down catch. So Mount Gilead, after giving up the touchdown, they're threatening on their second drive of the ball game. They stay on the ground. It's back to Davis. And he gets a couple. Tanner Ratliff in on the stop. And it'll be second down and 8.
Mount Gilead keeps pounding the inside of that defensive line. Sooner or later, something will pop open for you. Keep coming back to it.
Keenan steps up in the pocket, swings it out. This is caught by Bland, and he's out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. Couple of yards shy. Nice pocket presence by Keenan. That's something Mike Reed told me yesterday. He's very cool under pressure and delivered a strike to Bland. Third down and short. Bland, he is hit hard
nice
at the line of
defensive
scrimmage.
Play. And there's a fumble.
Turns it over. So a promising drive comes to an end on a turnover.
But what a collision. I haven't seen a hit like that for a long time, Brian. Stood him up, ball's on the ground.
Now, we do not have a 74 on our roster, so we'll have to find out who caused the turnover.
But what a collision.
But nevertheless, it's 1st and 10 Centerburg. They stay on the ground again. Another hole up the middle. It's LeMaster, and he's going to go untouched. 64 yards on the touchdown run. And the second touchdown run of the quarter for Kalen LeMaster.
Wow. Basically, it was the same play. He just looked for the opening. Once that young man gets in the open field, he is gone. But he has touched the ball twice, and he has 96 yards, Brian.
That's what you call efficient offense.
Wow.
Fargo's extra point is up and good. So two mistakes on two drives for Mount Gilead, and they both result in scores.
Yep. That happened. The fumble and the holding penalty on the first drive. And Mount Gilead's moving the ball. I mean, they're moving the ball on Centerburg's defense. But Mount Gilead's going to have to come up with something to shut down that ball player because Centerburg, wow, that was quite impressive.
And this is what makes Centerburg dangerous. If you bring somebody up then to plug the box, Gregory can pick you apart.
Yeah, and you got to take your medicine. You're going to shut down the run or you're going to shut down the pass. And right now, I think Mount Gilead's got to step up and they got to put another man in the box or somebody's got to shadow number 3 from Centerburg because when you pull out 96 yards on 2 plays, somebody's got to handle that young man.
So Fargo to kick off again. Centerburg jumping out to a 14-0 lead.
Those left-footed kickers drive me nuts.
Butterman from the 11. And he runs right into the arms of Jared Rings at the 20.
Nice coverage by Centerburg, getting downfield, boxing the young man in. He has nowhere to go. And again, Mount Gilead starting at the 20-yard line. They got an 80-yard drive field in front of them. If they can go with no mistakes, no turnovers, they need to have a good drive here.
It's Garrett George in the backfield with Carter Keenan. That's George. Not much going on the right side. Michael Kaiser in on the tackle. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 from the 20. Keenan steps up in the pocket. Directing traffic, he's going to take off himself and get about 6 yards up to the 25-yard line before he's chased out of bounds.
I like the quarterback. He got pressured in the pocket. He doesn't take the sack. He works his way out. You can see him pointing upfield, trying to get a receiver open. Instead of throwing the ball into coverage, runs it out of bounds.
He averages about 3 yards a carry when he runs. He's got 3 rushing touchdowns on the season, so he's got decent speed out of the backfield. A manageable 3rd down and 7. Keenan steps up. It's caught by Chafin. That's another 1st down. He's wrapped up at the 32-yard line. So you sense the calmness in Mount Gilead, even though they're down by 2 scores, and they made mistakes in their first 2 drives. And as you mentioned earlier, they're moving the football.
And
we also have another penalty.
Man, talk about shooting yourself in the foot.
And that's what killed them on that first drive, and it also negated another 1st down.
Another 1st down for them. They do move the ball, holding penalty, and that's 10 yards. That hurts. That's their 2nd penalty for 20 yards.
Centerburg doing a nice job of getting pressure. Swinging out to Butterman. Butterman makes a few people miss, but he just gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's going to be another punting situation and another wasted drive that was killed by a holding penalty.
And when you have a new coach come in and you put a new offense in, you're going to have mistakes. But they hurt so much, and as a coach, you work on them. You don't want these kids jumping off sides, holding penalty.
So Hunter Parker back to receive the kick at about midfield. So Centerburg should have a short field to work with here.
And this is a crucial series for Mount Gilead. If you let Centerburg score, you have your hands full. Nice coverage. Ball's on the ground. He was down.
Carson Van Hoos with the tackle.
And as I said, Centerburg has a short field, as you said, Brian, and Mount Gilead has to stop them here. If Centerburg goes down and score, and there's still 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter, and they fall behind by 3 touchdowns, this game is going to be slowly getting out of hand.
Well, the good news is Kalen LeMaster is not in the backfield. The bad news is Tyler Johnson is. He's their leading rusher, the 5th leading rusher in the KMAC. So LeMaster probably still getting a break after the long touchdown run. And he is spelled by Tyler Johnson. And a flag is down, and this is going to be a false start against Centerburg.
That's their second penalty of the night, 15 yards.
3:36 to go in the first quarter. Centerburg with a 14-0 lead.
The offense that Centerburg runs, they have the ability to overcome penalties. They did it the first drive on the holding. See if they can overcome this penalty.
They stay on the ground, and this time Johnson stopped at the 46. Coming up defensively for Mount Gilead was Kyan Davis. Bring up a second down and 13. Gregory with the quick pass. It's caught and a missed tackle. And Hunter Parker close to first down yardage. A flag is down. It's going to be a late hit out of bounds. Paul Butterman plays with a lot of intensity. There you see Tyler Johnson, who is the leading rusher. And they haven't even really used him yet.
No, they have a lot of weapons out there. This penalty hurts. That's a 15-yarder. That's Mount Gilead's third penalty for 35 yards. They're shooting themselves in the foot right now.
All Tyler Johnson has done this season is rushed for 507 yards, 8 touchdowns.
Nice job by the Mount Gilead defense shutting down that tailback.
Loss of 1, second down and 11, and that's what they're going to need. They're going to have to plug up the middle.
Yep. Linebacker shot the gap that time. A lot of times they'll take a linebacker. When you have a tailback there, you just spy him. Where he goes, you go.
They give it again to Johnson. Breaks through the line of scrimmage, and he's finally upended inside the 20-yard line. As they just continue to pound the ball on the ground. They sprinkle in the pass, but they're going to run the ball until Mount Gilead stops them.
It's going to be tough stopping this team right now. They got momentum going. They're at the home crowds going for them. They have the type of offense they can overcome a penalty.
Kalen LeMaster back in the backfield. LeMaster takes the pitch on the near side, and he's unable to turn the corner. Carson Van Hoosen on the stop. And that time the Indians do a nice job protecting the edge.
They pursued to the ball, forced him back inside, had a couple linebackers waiting for him.
That's one of the things they were emphasizing in practice yesterday, and they did a pretty good job running against the first-team offense, was their pursuit to the ball.
You don't want these runners to get outside, so you got to turn it in. And even after you turn it in, you have to have the pursuit coming to the ball. Everybody's got to fly to the football.
Loss of 4, second down and 14. Now they'll put both backs in the backfield. They'll stay on the ground. That's LeMaster again. Breaks a tackle, gets down to the 10-yard line. He's still going to be about a yard shy of the first down, but it's going to be 3rd and short.
LeMaster on the carry, tackled by Davis and Van Hoos.
Did a little jitterbug there. Had a couple missed tackles, worked his way out.
Mount Gilead takes a timeout with 1:11 to go in the first quarter. Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Centerburg High School. The sun has gone down, and it's dropped about 20 degrees here at Centerburg. It's now a beautiful night.
It feels good. Really
football.
Feels good. Yeah, one thing we're starting to notice is that Mount Gilead is not scoring as quickly. Centerburg is not scoring, really quick. Mount Gilead is forcing them to work for it. Instead of having those long runs, they had a 32-yard run for a touchdown, 64-yard run for a touchdown. Mount Gilead's defense starting to find their feet, starting to make something happen, starting to play a little football in the trenches, shutting down these backs.
3rd down and 4. Ball resting at the Mount Gilead 11. Split backs in the backfield. They send Rings out to the left side, but they give it to Johnson. He is stuffed in the backfield for a loss as he ran right into the arms of big number 4.
And that's what I was saying, Mount Gilead, that defense is starting to get their feet under them, starting to make some big plays. This is where you need your leaders stepping up on defense. You do not want Centerburg scoring on this series.
They're going to go for it on 4th down. They'll stack 3 receivers on the left side. Gregory swings it out. It's incomplete. And LeMaster wasn't even looking for the ball, so Mount Gilead is going to get it on downs.
And that will, you're going to look back on what happened at the outcome of this game, and that stop by Mount Gilead is going to play heavy in this game. If Centerburg would have scored there, they're up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. It's kind of put the nail in the coffin, but the Mount Gilead defense stepped up, forced them on 4th down. They now have the ball back. They need a long drive.
So Mount Gilead gets the ball back at their own 19 with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And as you said, Brian, Mount Gilead has moved the football. They've moved it up and down the field, except for penalties and a fumble. They'd be doing pretty good right now.
That's Davis in the backfield with Carter Keenan.
Looks like we have a penalty. 5-yard march off.
That'll be assessed against the Indians. And these are the trademarks of a young team that's growing. They're making untimely mistakes.
Sometimes you call them stupid. They make a stupid mistake every now and then.
Now they're going to – okay, now they're moving the ball back up to the line of scrimmage. So
I totally missed what that was. I have no idea what that was. But here we go, Mount Gilead's ball.
It's now 1st and 10 at the 21. That's Davis. Nothing doing. Cam Alloway up to make the tackle.
Centerburg, they're not putting one man on the tackle. They've got 4 or 5 people at every tackle, and they are flying to the ball. They have a nice defense with overall team speed.
I think that's going to be the final play of the first quarter as Mount Gilead is content to watch the final seconds wind down, and that's going to do it for the first quarter. Centerburg with a 14-0 lead as we head to the second. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
You want top joint replacement surgery. Knox Community Hospital delivers with 3 fellowship-trained surgeons and coveted national rankings for 4 years running, all to help you beat the pain and heal faster. At Knox Community Hospital, we're elevating care.
When you're on the go and need a fix, both for your body and your vehicle, stop in at Webb's Marathon and Automotive, celebrating 20 years of service at 164 East Main Street in Centerburg. Family owned and operated with premium products and services. So make it Webb's and get what you need to keep your engines running.
Now Gilead with a 2nd and 10 from their own 21-yard line. They've had opportunities in the first quarter. A couple big penalties, a turnover. He'll stay on the ground. No, Keenan keeps it. And he's going to run it himself up across the 30. Got a first down right across the face of the marker, or they're going to say he went out of bounds. They're going to spot it just shy of the 30.
Nice job by the quarterback. Passing all the way. Pocket kind of deteriorates. Works his way out of the pocket. Keeps his feet going. Gets it upfield.
Makes it a third down and about 2.
Mount Gilead needs this first down. Oh, boy, do they need it.
Keenan steps up. He's got room, and he's got the first down. He's out of bounds at the 35-yard line, and that almost looked like a designed run.
When you have a quarterback who's your team leader, and the more we watch, the more he's taking over. He is actually putting this Mount Gilead football team on his shoulders and leading them downfield. And he's doing a great job right now.
1st and 10 at the Indian 36-yard line. So a fresh set of downs for Mount Gilead. High snap, they give it to Davis. Davis pounds up the middle to the 40, a gain of about 4. Tackle made by Kaiser.
One of the big things is football is a mental game. A lot of people don't see that, but when a team comes out and scores on 2 quick plays and you're ahead 14-0, sometimes you relax, and that allows Mount Gilead to catch their breath. And if Mount Gilead can put a scoring drive together here, we got a ball game.
2nd down and 6. Keenan lofts it up looking for Elijah Chafin on the far side, and looks like he almost threw it out of bounds.
Left-handed quarterback. Is he, or is he a right-handed?
No, Gregory is the lefty.
Yep.
3rd down and 6.
Mount Gilead's just got to scrape and claw and fight for every yard they get out there. And every time a 3rd down comes out, this is where you really got to reach into your bag of tricks and make something happen.
And another timeout is going to be let's see, they're going to
timeout Mount Gilead.
Give this to Mount Gilead. 14-0 Centerburg.
And I think the coach on the sidelines, Mount Gilead, did the right thing. This is a crucial down. He realizes how important this drive is. And it's a 3rd down and 7 situation. He wants to make sure everybody's on the same page. As you stated before, it's a young team, no mistakes. When they come over that huddle, tell them, don't jump off sides, do your job, move the sticks, move the ball downfield.
Mount Gilead last week in their loss to East Knox ran for 199 yards and only passed for 31. They've thrown the ball a lot better tonight against Centerburg.
I've been impressed with their passing game right now.
3rd down and 6, a passing down for the Indians, and another timeout. This is an official's timeout.
And what Mount Gilead is doing is they're putting the ball into their best handler right now, their quarterback. And he's running the ball, he's moving it, he's moving the stakes. They've taken it and put the ball game on his shoulders.
Not sure what the problem is. They're pointing. They sent both teams to the sideline, so I'm not quite sure what the issue is.
Something on the field's not right. At the 20-yard line, they're doing something over there.
Something to do with the yard marker, or
could be a gopher coming up. Get a little Caddyshack here. Gopher coming onto the field.
He's going to slide the 20-yard line marker down to the 15 and confuse everybody.
And their grounds crews going out, going to take a look at something on the sidelines.
Mount Gilead 2-4 coming into tonight. They won 2 out of their first 3 ball games. At one point this season, they were 2-1. And since then, they've lost 3 in a row. Centerburg, on the other hand, they're 3-2. And they had a big win last week over Cardington. 15-yard touchdown pass that bounced off the intended receiver right into the hands of Jared Rings with 25 seconds to go, and they beat Cardington 24-20.
Now, right now, we're into an official's timeout. Both teams are on the sideline talking to their coaches. Who's this going to benefit? I think you got to look at Mount Gilead and say, hey, right now the coach is telling them, relax, take a deep breath. We're in a 3rd and 7 situation. This is what we have to do. This is what we're going to do.
Mike Reed in his first season as the head coach of Mount Gilead, his first season as a head coach, period. He's been a career assistant. He was the longtime defensive coordinator at Highland.
So he knows football. He knows football. And it's kind of it's kind of funny how your teams go. When I was head coach at Ontario, one year we had 7 shutouts. 7 shutouts. You called a couple of those games. And the next year we run the exact same defense, and we can't stop anybody. So, you know, you look at the scheme of things out there, you put the players in the best position for them to succeed, and you make something happen.
I think they're looking, and is it grass? Is it turf? Is it not really sure what the problem is on the far side? I don't know if there's a hole there.
And when you look at anything like that, some people may say, hey, let's just play the ball game, we're away from it. But the officials have to take the safety of the players first.
Because all that takes is one player being pushed out of bounds on that side, especially if it's a hole.
While we have a moment, Morrison, I'd like to remind you the 3 fabulous concession stations on the property. Centerburg Athletic Boosters on the visitors'
Well,
side.
while we do have this opportunity, we will
The Diamond Club and
take this chance to thank our sponsors of tonight's ball game.
Thank you.
Tyler Griffith with Remax Peak Realtors, a Centerburg native serving the community. By Monarch Title Services and President Rochelle Sammons, building long-term relationships every day. And by Forman Realtors and agent Mike Pankuch. Find your dream property at formanrealtors.com. By Knox Community Hospital, elevating care. Schedule an appointment online at kch.org. And by Realtor Patty Jackson of the Remax Genesis team in Mount Gilead. And finally, by Webb's Marathon and Automotive. Fuel up, grab a cold drink, and enjoy quality service. Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Centerburg High School. The Trojans with a 14-0 lead. Mount Gilead with the ball, 3rd down and 6 at their own 40. And they're still doing some manicuring over on the far side of the field at about the 20-yard line.
And while we got the time, Brian, I like to say I love this facility. I like Centerburg. I like the football field. I like the grass. I just think everything is awesome with it. I like the concession stands, and the hot chicken noodle soup suited me just fine
I'm
tonight.
going to put a plug in for the shredded buffalo chicken sandwich.
Oh, you and your buffalo sandwiches. But that chicken noodle soup, it was like grandmother made.
Well, whatever is going on over at the 20, it's injured because they've brought out the gator. So it looks like they're plugging a hole over there. I just picture the gopher from Caddyshack. They're trying to keep him out, and they're just going to plug the hole, and he's going to pop up somewhere else.
When you come to the Centerburg, the one thing that I really like is the fans here. Not only do they sit in the bleachers, but everybody brings their own chairs. They put blankets down. They got hills here. Kind of reminds me of Clear Fork when the fans come in and put them on the sidelines. But right now, the officials look like they're plugging a hole, and you got to take your hats off to the officials. Player safety is number one in their mind. You don't want somebody stepping in a hole, twisting an ankle, breaking a leg.
Yeah, as they tend to that on the 20. We'll take a timeout. Centerburg with a 14-0 lead. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report. Thank you. We're going to start singing pretty soon.
You want top joint replacement surgery. Knox Community Hospital delivers with 3 fellowship-trained surgeons and coveted national rankings for 4 years running, all to help you beat the pain and heal faster. At Knox Community Hospital, we're elevating care you want.
Good news, the hole has been plugged, and we are ready to resume play here at Centerburg. Mount Gilead with the ball, 3rd down and 6 at their own 40. Carter Keenan avoids the pressure. And he's going to run this one for himself, and he tried to dish it off at the last second and could not find Butterman at the 47.
Boy, he had a little bit of green in front of him. He might have been able to stretch it out for a first down, but I'm not on that field right now. I have no idea.
He got away from Evan Merklin. So it's going to be 4th down and a punting situation as Garrett Lamb-Hart will go back in punt formation for Mount Gilead. And Hunter Parker back to receive the kick for the Trojans. So another drive stalls for the Indians, and there's movement, and they're going to get yardage. They're going to go back 5 more as Carson Van Hoos tried to jump the snap.
Try to get downfield and make the big tackle. Cost them another 5 yards. Centerburg's going to have pretty good field position again, Brian.
Hunter Parker ready for the return. And that's Parker from the 27. Breaks some tackles and gets up to about the 38-yard line. And that is where Centerburg, and there's an injured player on the field, and I think this is a Mount Gilead Indian. Not in a position where we can see his number. But it will be Centerburg ball at about 38-yard line. I don't know if we can see a replay and see maybe what the injury was. Well, I see the player went down. Still can't see his number.
Personal foul on Centerburg.
Looks like Mason Barnum. He's going to get up and walk off. That's Ben Witt. So it's a good sign as he gets up and walks off the field.
And I don't know what Centerburg did, but they just had a 15-yard penalty marked on them. Personal foul, the official states.
There we can see the injury to Witt, and still can't see what it was, and nor do we know what the penalty was other than it was a personal foul, and it's going to back Centerburg up.
And this is a big defensive play for Mount Gilead.
1st and 10 from the 22, and a flag is down.
False start on the Trojans.
So Centerburg kind of falling apart here.
And as I stated earlier, sometimes when you score early, you think you got it made, you got an easy ball game, then all at once things come unraveled. Mount Gilead defense can pick it up a little bit and get a stop here. They're going to have good field position.
5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 15. LeMaster runs right into the left side of that Mount Gilead defense, and they do a pretty good job of plugging the hole pretty quick. Gain of a couple, 2nd down to 13. LeMaster still in as the running back. And the lefty rolls. It's to Johnson at the 20. Ball's on the ground. Mount Gilead thinks they have it. Let's see. And they do. So Mount Gilead gets the ball with a short field with 10 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. And if they can get in the end zone here, we've got a new ball game.
And like I say, sometimes you sit back, you're ahead 14-0, things are easy for you. Mistake City. First turnover.
So Carter Keenan and the offense back on the field. 1st and 10 at the Centerburg 21-yard line.
Mount Gilead's in 4-down territory. They got to score a touchdown.
Garrett George in the backfield. But Keenan looks to throw. Keenan does a nice job of eluding the pressure. Tries to go to Butterman, and it's incomplete. Back on coverage for Centerburg was Jesse Rings. I really like Keenan's ability to get away from pressure.
Oh, he's doing a great job. He's being forced out of the pocket. Somewhere there's a collapse in the front 5 blocking. Centerburg's making their way through, forcing the quarterback off of his sweet spot. Quarterbacks get used to throwing from a particular zone, a particular spot. Centerburg's forcing him out of the pocket.
Keenan now looks to his left, has some time, lost it up into the end zone. It's going to be incomplete, and there's going to be a flag in the backfield. It's going to be pass interference against Centerburg. Keenan shows off his strong arm. Plenty of time, though. You saw the protection in the pocket.
I liked how he just waited and waited. His receiver breaks open, lofts it downfield, got a nice arm on him. Not bad for a junior. Interference call is going to make it a 1st down.
Ball now spotted at the 11, so Mount Gilead can get a 1st down without scoring.
This is the longest 10 yards.
Garrett George in the backfield along with Keenan. That's George. Right tackle down to the 5. Saw a nice surge on the right side of that offensive line. They gave George some running room, and he just bulldozes his way down to the 5-yard line, setting up a 2nd down and 5. Actually, they'll spot the ball at the 6.
I like that fullback look.
They go back to George, this time left side, touchdown Mount Gilead. So Garrett George with the touchdown run, and Mount Gilead takes advantage of the Centerburg turnover.
And we got a ball game, Brian.
So with 9:18 to go, you see George there again going into the end zone.
Simple 8-yard run.
And all because of the Centerburg turnover. The extra point is up and good. There you get another look at the touchdown run. And don't look now, Mount Gilead is in this ballgame.
And you got to love it. They were on the verge of total collapse. Their defense comes together, makes something happen. The offense starts to pick it up a little bit. And Mount Gilead, being a young team, they're playing some nice football right now.
They're trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Those losses coming to Highland, Fredericktown, and last week to East Knox. And Centerburg, they snapped a 2-game losing streak with a big win over Cardington last week, but they've got their hands full tonight here against Mount Gilead.
When you jump up 14-0 in the first quarter, you think, oh, with time to sit back and relax. This is a piece of cake. Mount Gilead says, no. We're going to play football yet.
Kalen Lemaster, who already has 2 touchdowns on the night, he is back deep to receive this kick. Garrett Lamb Hart will tee it up at the 40. Mount Gilead pulls to within 7. And we have a whistle, and I got a feeling this is going to come back and they're going to re-kick it. It looks like Mount Gilead may have been offsides.
Well, I kind of lose what's going on sometimes. I never saw a flag go up. I know all the officials were waving their arms.
Or they weren't ready. I didn't see a flag go either. I just heard the whistle.
I think that's what it was. They're just going to reline them. Sometimes it's the clock worker.
Nope, they're going to move it back.
Yep.
So it'll be a 5-yarder against Mount Gilead, but I did not see a flag. Well, they did pick up a flag there at the 40.
That's Mount Gilead's 6th penalty for 50 yards in the first half. Or first quarter, really. We got a lot of time to go. Young team jitters.
So we'll try it again. Lemaster backpedals to the 4. And he is hit hard at the 22-yard line, and a flag comes flying in. So you sense a little bit of juice on the far side of the field. The Indians getting jacked up after the touchdown.
Mount Gilead is jacked up. Made a great play. Good kick.
I was watching them kick in practice, and he's got a nice leg.
Penalty, personal foul, headbutt.
They're going to call that against Centerburg. So this is going to march the ball all the way back just shy of the 11.
Personal foul on the Trojans.
So it's 1st and 10 Centerburg. Their lead has been trimmed to 7 with 9:12 to go before halftime. They'll stay on the ground and nothing doing as the Indians were ready, as he ran into the teeth of about 8 white jerseys. Nothing there for Tyler Johnson. Mike Reed, a defensive coordinator in his day, they obviously made a defensive adjustment because they have done a pretty good job ever since those 2 touchdowns. This one caught by Hunter Parker. And let's see. They're going to spot it at the 21. That'll be good enough for a first down. Logan High coming up to help on the tackle.
Mount Gilead defense picking it up a little bit here, Brian.
So a little bit of breathing room for Centerburg.
If you notice, Mount Gilead's putting everybody in the box, shutting down the run.
And
there
it
is.
They get him in the backfield. Justin Denninger, as they plug the gap.
And I think this is some of the defensive coordinator from the head coach coming out. And if you notice on that last play, they go man-to-man. They take everybody else and put them in the box and shut down the run. And we talked about that earlier. Take it away. Force them to do something else.
Loss of 2 makes it 2nd and 12. Gregory rolls to his right, sets, fires. It's incomplete. That's going to be pass interference. Elijah Chafin on coverage. Jared Rings, the intended receiver, and they got tangled up just shy of the 40.
That's one of those tough plays. You know, their feet get tangled, but it's going to be a penalty. There's flags everywhere. It's a 10-yard penalty and automatic first down. It'll go from the line of scrimmage. This is not the NFL. In the NFL or college where the interference is, then you march the penalty off. In high school, it goes back to the line of scrimmage, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the penalty will bring the ball out outside the 30 to the 32. And a fresh set of downs for the Trojans. Remember, this drive started back at the 11. Gregory swings it out. Pass caught by Parker. Logan High making the tackle. So a gain of almost 6. We'll call it 2nd down and 5.
Centerburg's going back just the basics. Mount Gilead shut down the run, so they're going to try and throw it.
Now Centerburg quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Tyler Johnson nowhere to go on the right side of that line.
And you got to take your hats off to that front for Mount Gilead. I don't know what adjustments the coach made, but they are playing very good defense right now. If you'd asked me earlier in the quarter, I said, nope, this is going to be a blowout. But Mount Gilead is coming back.
3rd down and 4. Gregory, quick one. This one's caught by Rings, and another 1st down. As Van Hoos hangs on for dear life, and Rings gets down to the 40, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Trojans. And this is what makes Centerburg dangerous. You can stop the run, but they've got Jack Gregory back there throwing the ball around the ball yard.
And that's a tough pass to cover, that slant.
Centerburg trying to get back to a 2-score lead. This one caught by Alex Johnson. A couple yards after the catch. Chafin makes the play, but it's a gain of about 8.
And if you notice a little bit of philosophy change, run the ball early for Centerburg. They're having success. Mount Gilead shuts it down. Now you go back to the air.
Well, and this is what makes Centerburg dangerous. You cannot just stop one thing. And there you have a blown coverage, and wide open was Jesse Rings. And he's got another 1st down inside the 20. As soon as he stepped to the line of scrimmage, there was nobody on him.
Pass complete to Jesse Rings, tackled by Reed.
Centerburg threatening 1st and 10 at the Mount Gilead 18. Gregory swings it out. Caught. Tackle made by Chafin. It's another reception by Alex Johnson.
Centerburg's tried 12 passes, Brian, completed 11. Doing a nice job out there throwing the ball through the air.
Well, as you said, they do a nice job when they ran the ball early, and if they're going to be forced to throw the ball, ball on the ground, and it's going to be recovered by Gregory. The pressure was applied by Gabe Simpson. So it's 3rd now and long. And fortunately for Centerburg, Gregory able to fall on it. So 3rd down and 16.
Big play for Mount Gilead's defense.
Gregory sets, fires, it's incomplete, and he may have been hit as he was throwing. The ball was intended for Hunter Parker, and Mount Gilead does a nice job of getting pressure on Gregory.
And we're in a 4th down situation. What do you do? Look like they're going for it, looking for the 1st down.
This would be a long field goal try. Dominic Vargo has not tried a field goal in the season, and we've got a whistle.
Little offsides. I think the defensive end got in a hurry. Mount Gilead's 8th penalty for 65 yards.
Offsides on the Indians.
So that helps the play. It is now 4th and 11. As the ball now at the 20. Gregory back to throw, looking for the slant. It's incomplete, and pass interference is going to give Centerburg a 1st down.
Penalty marker on the play.
They're going to get helped out here. I think this was pretty good coverage. I don't think he was going to catch it anyway.
Yeah, he got their feet tangled up, and down he went. That causes a problem.
Coverage by Gabe Simpson.
It's going to be if it's against Mount Gilead, it'll be a 10-yard march off and automatic 1st down.
Boy, that's a killer. You had him on 4th and 11.
You let him out of the bag. Now they get a fresh set of markers. 1st and goal at the 10. Well, they still got 4th down.
They've got 4th and 1 now. And we got a whistle, and now what? And that's going to go against Mount Gilead, and that's going to give Centerburg a first down.
Offsides on the Indians.
And those are plays that will drive not even just a first-year coach, but any coach. You've got yourself back in this ball game, and they've had some big penalties here on this drive.
And that's 10 penalties in the game, and it's only the first half.
Centerburg up by 7, first and goal at the 5. Johnson breaks a couple tackles, then another flag comes flying in from the backfield.
Holding.
And this is going to be marched off against Centerburg. So the officials earning their paycheck tonight.
The flags are getting dirty. The flags are getting dirty.
So instead of first and goal from the 5, ball now moved out to the 19-yard line. It's first and goal from the 19. Tyler Johnson moves over to the left of Jack Gregory. Here comes the blitz. Ball popped and incomplete.
Nice defense by Mount Gilead on the coverage.
Hunter Parker was the intended receiver.
You know, this has kind of turned into an ugly ball game right now with the penalties and everything flying.
Logan High with the coverage. Second and goal from the 19. Gregory feels some pressure, lofts it up, it's complete. And touchdown, LeMaster from 19 yards out. And the first touchdown pass of the ball game, and LeMaster's third of the night. And just like that,
wide open, right, came right out of the backfield.
With 3:49 to go, Centerburg answers the Mount Gilead touchdown. Vargo's extra point is up and good.
Point after by Vargo is good.
What a swing. Mount Gilead pulls to within 7. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Wide open.
And LeMaster just goes into the end zone. His third touchdown of the night.
And you do not want that young man loose in the open field because he is good.
LeMaster with his third receiving touchdown of the season. Need a shout out to the lovely Nicole LaPierre watching from home. We don't know who she's rooting for. She's rooting for our producer. That is a cheap plug if I ever saw one. Now back to what matters. Centerburg up 21-7, 3:49 to go before halftime. Butterman from the 8. And Butterman tries to reverse his field. Ball's on the ground. It's picked up by LeMaster. Touchdown Centerburg on a fumble recovery from about the 12-yard line. And LeMaster with his fourth touchdown of the night. Take a look at the replay here. And we can see LeMaster just happens to be, he just scoops it up from the 17-yard line. So within a span of 10 seconds, Centerburg about to score 14 points. That is heartbreaking if you're an Indian fan.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
Vargo's extra point is up and good.
Point after by Vargo is good.
Butterman just trying to make something happen on the kickoff return.
The ball pops out.
And LeMaster right there to scoop it up.
And of all the ball players on the field, you've got 11 players out there. How'd the ball bounce to number 3? I mean, he's probably one of the most gifted athletes out there. He's got 3 touchdowns now. It bounces right up to him perfectly.
Well, he heard OH Report was going to be here. We're going to have our player of the game, and he is making a strong
case for it. Unbelievable. And what a heartbreak for Mount Gilead. What a heartbreak for a young team.
He has scored all 4 touchdowns for the Trojans. And you can just sense the air out of the balloon for Mount Gilead. And Vargo's kick. And this is Chafin from the 3. Chafin with some room around the far side. He's going to be upended at about the 25-yard line by Hunter Parker. So Mount Gilead gets the ball back, and this time they're down 21. 10 seconds ago, they were down by 7.
Yeah, welcome to football. Welcome to Friday night football where anything can happen at any time.
Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Centerburg, and this has turned into a wild affair. Centerburg jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Mount Gilead stays on the ground up to the 24-yard line. Then Mount Gilead scored a touchdown to make it 14-7. But a 19-yard touchdown pass from Jack Gregory to LeMaster made it 21-7. And then on the ensuing kickoff, a fumble recovery by guess who? Kalen LeMaster.
Does he leave the field at all? He's a linebacker.
Davis powers his way to the 34. There's no quit in this Indian team.
No, and I like what they're doing. They're going back to their bread and butter, trying to get that offensive line some confidence and just moving the sticks by running the football. You build your football team running it.
Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 from the 35. Davis tries to bounce to the outside. Ball's on the ground again. And it looks like Mount Gilead has it. So as the evening has worn on, the ball getting a little slippery. He gains a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Mike Reed just wants to get to the halftime and just stop the bleeding here with 2 minutes to go before the intermission. Keenan lofts it right side, has Butterman, and it's incomplete. Nice coverage by Hunter Parker on Paul Butterman.
And there's no flags on the floor. Seems like lately every time we throw the football, there's an interference call. That time, nice ball, nice defensive effort by the Centerburg defensive back. He just waits for the ball to come down, sticks his right hand up there, tips it, knocks it away.
3rd down and 9. We're under 2 minutes to go. Coming up, we'll have the Knox Community Hospital halftime show. We'll have heard the Centerburg marching band before the game. They are very good. And we'll take a look at the halftime numbers. Keenan flushed out, catches Butterman. He's got a 1st down. He's wrapped up by Jared Rings. And you can just sense the calmness with this Mount Gilead team. Even though they're down 3 scores, they have not pushed the panic button.
I like the quarterback, how he makes things happen, steps up in the pocket.
Keenan flushed out, and he just throws it out of bounds. Stops the clock with 1:27 to go.
It's one of the hardest things to get a quarterback to do. When you're being pressured, you're forced out of the pocket. Instead of taking the sack, he throws it away. A lot of quarterbacks, young kids, they'll try and throw it into coverage and it gets intercepted or knocked down. Threw it away. The only one that could caught that was the coach.
2nd down play from the 47. And he has to do the same thing running around to the right side. Evan Merklin and Alex Johnson applying the pressure.
Holding penalty on Mount Gilead. That's their 11th penalty for 95 yards.
Sometimes out of frustration when you see the play go, you just grab.
Yeah, and if you notice there, Centerburg did something a little different. They brought everybody. They had a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You're trying to protect your quarterback. You don't want him getting hurt. So you reach out, grab a little bit of jersey, and the yellow flag goes down.
10-yard holding penalty takes the ball all the way back to the 31.
And how many drives have been shut down by penalties for Mount Gilead?
2nd and 25. They go to the ground, and George is swarmed under. Evan Merklin coming up to make the play. So it makes it 3rd down. They need to get all the way to the Centerburg about the 43-yard line for a first down.
There's a
and Mount Gilead's
timeout.
going to take their final timeout. Actually, Centerburg's going to take the timeout because they have 1:15 to go. They get a stop here.
They get the ball, and with what they've been doing tonight, anything can happen.
Centerburg won the opening coin toss. They deferred, so they're going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter as well.
And Mount Gilead, they've had 2 fumbles that's really hurt them. They've got 11 penalties for 95 yards. That has really put the hammer to them. They're making their own mistakes. And these are things that Coach he'll clean up. You'll go back, look at video, and say, hey, we got to clean this up. When you have a young team, they're going to have penalties.
Indians face a 3rd and 29. Ball on their 28-yard line, and Keenan's just going to run it. And he's got nowhere to go. And the final timeout of the half, or another timeout, taken by Centerburg, and that'll stop the clock with a minute to go. So they should have about 3 plays from scrimmage.
And with what we've seen from this offense, they only need 1 play to make something happen.
Jack Gregory has played extremely well here in the first half. They dominated the line of scrimmage running the ball early.
Mount Gilead's defense picked it up, made some big plays. They had 2 or 3 drives in a row where they stopped Centerburg, but penalties and a few turnovers have really cost them heavily in this game.
Kalen Lemaster has scored all 4 touchdowns for Centerburg. He's had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had a receiving touchdown, and he recovered a fumble on a kickoff.
And this is something, I don't even see him on the field right now.
That's Hunter Parker back to receive the punt. You got to let the kid rest at some point.
Boy, what a weapon. Oh, there's another flag.
Oh, and they're going to get a break.
Yep.
Mount Gilead is going to get a break as Garrett Lamb-Hart, they ran into him.
They went for the block, and it didn't work, knocked the punter down.
So on 4th and 29, Centerburg goes after the punter.
Roughs him up. It's still going to be 4th down. They're still going to have to punt. It's not an automatic first down.
Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking
That is a big penalty. The ball is going to be moved up. It's a 15-yard penalty, but it's also an automatic first down. So a huge break for Mount Gilead with a minute to go before halftime. So now Mount Gilead with possibly 3 more plays before halftime. That's Chafin, and he gets out of bounds. Mount Gilead with 1 timeout. Gain of about 4 to be 2nd down and 6.
The officials are earning their pay tonight.
Oh, they
19
sure are.
penalties.
Keenan, right side. This one's hauled in. And down at the 45-yard line, making the reception is Davis. Tyler Johnson comes up to make the tackle. Another first down for Mount Gilead. 48 seconds to go. And they move back up to the line of scrimmage. Garrett George in the backfield. Keenan with some time. And a high throw. Chafin can't haul it in at the 35-yard line. And that'll stop the clock with 37 seconds to go.
Boy, wouldn't this be awesome if Mount Gilead can put the ball in the end zone? What a morale lift this would be going in at halftime for them.
Second down and 10. Keenan rolls to his left. Feels the pressure, and I think the ball was in a throwing motion. I think that's an incomplete pass.
The officials are
they're
waiting.
They're going to call it a fumble. Now, if we can see the replay, this to me might be a break for Centerburg. He was throwing the ball.
It looked like it to me.
So it's going to be a fumble, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Centerburg at the Mount Gilead 49-yard line. So can the Trojans take advantage of the break? Gregory. And the cannon that Gregory has with that left arm. He throws a nice tight spiral. Goes incomplete, though. It stops the clock with 24 seconds to go before halftime.
They're throwing the deep outs so the runner can get the ball and get out of bounds, stop the clock. They're trying to work down in the field goal range. Add another 3 before half.
Trips to the left. Gregory looking to his right, and it's incomplete, looking for Alex Johnson.
Pass intended for Alex Johnson's incomplete.
One of these times they're going to loft it upfield. Third down's a great time to do it right here.
Each team with one timeout.
I was watching their kicker before the game. All they got to do is get to the 20-yard line, and he was punching them through.
3rd down and 10 from the 45. Gregory, all kinds of time, steps up. And it's incomplete. He was looking for Alex Johnson again down the far side. Chafin with coverage.
50-yard pass in the air. Not too shabby.
So
Timeout.
It's 4th down and a timeout taken by Centerburg. What do you do here?
Punt it. Last thing you want to do is give Mount Gilead the ball near their goal line or near the 50-yard line. Just punt it, put them in the hole, and go in with a 28-7 lead at half.
It's 4th and 10 from the Indian 48-yard line. At one point, this was 14-7.
Yeah. As a
And
coach,
boom.
you don't want to overcoach yourself right now. Do what's best for you. Just kick the ball. You don't want to try any fakes. You don't want to try any throwing the ball. Do what's best for you.
Well, Gregory is going to line up, and they're going to go for it on 4th down. So Andy Colella is going to roll the dice here, up 28-7.
I don't know.
And I think this speaks more to the confidence that he has in Jack Gregory. And plus, you've got a 3-score cushion. Gregory going to loft it up, left side.
Hail Mary.
And it's incomplete. And they will turn it over with 5 seconds to go. And I think now we're going to see what kind of an arm that Carter Keenan has.
They're going to come back, probably run the identical play, send 4 receivers to the goalposts. We used to call this all go. Send everybody to the goalpost. Quarterback steps back, lofts it as far as he can, right to the center of the goalpost. And it's called jump ball.
So the Indians will get one shot before halftime.
And I think Centerburg's ready for them. They got their defensive backs 30 yards deep.
And Keenan's just going to run it.
He takes a sack.
And that's going to be the final play, and Mount Gilead trails Centerburg 28-7. As we head to the half, you're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
You want top joint replacement surgery. Knox Community Hospital delivers with 3 fellowship-trained surgeons and coveted national rankings for 4 years running, all to help you beat the pain and heal faster. At Knox Community Hospital, we're elevating care.
When you're on the go and need a fix, both for your body and your vehicle, stop in at Webb's Marathon and Automotive, celebrating 20 years of service at 164 East Main Street in Centerburg. Family owned and operated with premium products and services. So make it Webb's and get what you need to keep your engines running.
features a favorite from the band Blue Suede. Sing along to Hooked on a Feeling. flutes with the kind of music that soothes the soul, that makes you reminisce about the days of old. That's right, we're talking about that old-time rock and roll. That's 70s Show by the Mount Gilead Marching Band. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the halftime show. Welcome to the field, your Centerburg Trojan Pride Marching Band! The band is led onto the field tonight by junior drum majors Judith Detmar and Jasper Fox.
Testing.
Tonight, the band will be performing their halftime show entitled The Greatest Showman. The opener features a solo by senior vocalist Cecilia Carlisle.
sweat soaking through the floor. Buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, still in your mind. And all that is left is the mind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment that you'll come back to. Don't take it, you can't get it anymore. Where do you wanna go? Traveling all the glowing eyes. Not a vision of the night. Impossible comes true, thinking over you. This is the thrill show. Light it up, you won't back down. The sun can't stop us now. What did you come to do? Thinking over you. This is the greatest show. Tell me that you ever want. Tell me that you ever need. It's real when I'm part of you. This is where you wanna be. This is where you wanna be. A lot of ways of running the night. Impossible comes true. Intoxicating you. This is the greatest show. Light it up, you won't come down. The sun can't stop us now. What did you come to do? Thinking over you. This is the greatest show.
Next up, the band will play Never Enough and From Now On, featuring a trumpet solo from senior Emma Campus and a solo from Field Commander Captain and senior Isabella Fink. The band will close out their show tonight with This Is Me, featuring a trumpet solo by junior Casey Kennedy.
want top joint replacement surgery? Knox Community Hospital delivers with 3 fellowship-trained surgeons and coveted national rankings for 4 years running, all to help you beat the pain and heal faster. At Knox Community Hospital, we are elevating care.
When you're on the go and need a fix, both for your body and your vehicle, stop in at Webb's Marathon and Automotive, celebrating 20 years of service at 164 East Main Street in Centerburg. Family owned and operated with premium products and services. So make it Webb's and get what you need to keep your engines running.
Welcome to the Knox Community Hospital Halftime Show. I am Brian Harder along with Bruce Wyrick, and we have a 28-7 Centerburg lead at the intermission. And this game at the beginning looked like it was going to be a blowout. Centerburg gets 2 quick touchdowns on the ground, but then the defense for Mount Gilead really stiffens up against the run, and then Mount Gilead gets a touchdown, and it looked like we had a ball game for a while until Centerburg got a couple really quick scores.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me, Brian, is it's a sloppy game. You know, penalties is really hurting both teams, and you put the penalties in there and the fumbles and everything that's happening. You just don't like this type of game from a coaching standpoint.
You got 11 penalties for Mount Gilead for 95 yards. You got 8 for Centerburg for 80 yards, and that really doesn't tell the whole story for Mount Gilead. It's when they got those penalties. In the first 2 drives for Mount Gilead, it seemed like they just had that knack for, we need a big play. We're going to get the first down. Oh, by the way, it's negated by a penalty.
And that's hurting them. And when you have a young team coming out, first-year head coach, a little bit of communication problems here and there, but holding penalties and, you know, offsides, those are fixable mistakes. So the coach has got his hands full. He's got to go to practice, look at some film, and get this team straightened out. Mount Gilead, they've done some nice things out on that field.
And Mount Gilead also 3 turnovers. The Centerburg defense has really done a nice job, and one of those was on special teams, and that was the fumble recovery on the kickoff that resulted in Kalen LeMaster's 4th touchdown. Yeah, he has all 4 touchdowns for Centerburg, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air, and he also has the fumble recovery.
And you and I stayed up here in the press box, and we look down. That young man does not leave the football field. He's a linebacker. He's on specialty teams. He returns punts. You name it, he does it. You talk about Mr. Football in Centerburg, that is Mr. Football.
Well, all of the talk really is about Tyler Johnson. He's their leading rusher, and deservedly so. He's 5th in the KMAC in rushing, but Kalen LeMaster has really stolen the show tonight. 7 carries, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He's caught 2 passes for 21 yards and a touchdown, and then he had the fumble recovery for a touchdown. They have done a nice job of spelling each other, but LeMaster, when he is in there, he is just electric.
Yeah, his offensive line gave him a couple seams. He breaks through the line, and one thing he does, he's got that turn-on speed. And some backs can't do this, but they can accelerate in the middle of a run. And he accelerates, he cuts back, and boy, everything happens for him.
So they load the box and take LeMaster really out of it, rushing the ball. And Jack Gregory, all he does is complete 12 of 19 for 140 yards and a touchdown. They have a lot more balance. They are where Mount Gilead wants to be.
Right. And the one thing that I liked about Mount Gilead, they gave up a couple runs, long runs, touchdowns. They're behind. So they start throwing more people in the box. The coach made a great decision. Let's load up the box. Let's force them to do something else. And then when they shut the run down, Centerburg starts throwing the football.
If you remember on the stats, Mount Gilead actually has more first downs than Centerburg does. Centerburg with 8 first downs in the half. In Mount Gilead with 10. They have been able to move the ball. They've just made crucial mistakes.
And that's what I like about the team. They are, all you got to do is put the stakes together, move those yard markers one play at a time. And they've shown signs of being a very good offensive team.
There's LeMaster's first touchdown of the ball game. That one came from 32 yards out. And then he responded with the 64-yarder and just displayed that speed that you talked about earlier. So Centerburg's going to get the ball to start the third quarter. Up by 3 scores, 28-7.
It's kind of nice when you have more than one weapon on the field, too. Centerburg's loaded.
Carter Keenan for Mount Gilead, 7 of 15 for only 83 yards in the first half. And they will look for more offense from him in the second half.
I really like the second half and see what changes coaches have made.
LeMaster, can he add a kickoff return to his repertoire here? He's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 46-yard line.
What a great job blocking by his punt return team. He had a seam that I think I could have ran through for a little bit, Brian.
Well, he's got some time yet, but that means Mount Gilead has to score again, and I thought he was going to break one here.
It looked like it.
And the kicker comes over and saves the touchdown. It's 1st and 10 in Mount Gilead territory at the 45. LeMaster with the first carry, and this time he is stopped after about a yard gain. Ben Witt in on the play.
And looks like a good adjustment by the defense. Shut down number 3.
Only a gain of 1. LeMaster still in the backfield. LeMaster gets the call. Breaks through the first line, but can't get by Justin Denninger. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and about 5. So they're doing a little bit better job against the run.
Mount Gilead, take a look at it. They're loading up the box, going man-to-man. There's no free safety. They're bringing that extra defensive player and put him in the box to shut the run down.
Now they switch Tyler Johnson and Kalen Lemaster. Lemaster goes over to that right wing. And Johnson is in the backfield, and Gregory back to throw. And this one's incomplete, in and out of the arms of Hunter Parker. So the defense for Mount Gilead looks a lot better in the first drive.
And one of the great things I like about those half times is the adjustments the coach is making. Mount Gilead comes out, they're loading up the box, going man to man.
But Andy Colella is going to go for it here on 4th and 4 from the 39-yard line.
Big play for Mount Gilead.
Johnson goes in motion. Gregory under some pressure. He gets away from the first tackler, but he doesn't get away from the second one. That's Ben Witt with the sack, and Centerburg turns it over on downs.
Boy, big momentum change. This could be a big play. You're giving Mount Gilead the ball at their 40-yard line. This is probably one of the best starting positions they've had all night. Let's see what Mount Gilead can do with their offense now. Cut the mistakes out. Hope the officials keep those flags in their pocket.
They force a 4 and out, and Mount Gilead gets the ball at their own 43-yard line. Garrett George, he is stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. And on the play for Centerburg is Michael Kaiser. They'll actually give him progress to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
What a big hit, too. That linebacker filled the seam. Bam.
Centerburg with a 28-7 lead. They are looking for their 2nd win in a row and looking to go to 4-2 on the season, 2-2 in the KMAC.
Delay a game, miscommunication on the field.
George on the misdirection, and they've got a first down to the 46-yard line of Centerburg. Jesse Rings comes up to make the play.
And I like the play. Little misdirection. That's the first misdirection play. They get everything going to the right side. They hand it back going to the left. Big opening hole, 12 yards and a first down.
1st and 10 at the Centerburg 45-yard line. That's Chafin. They fake the pitch to him, and Keenan's going to keep it. He's got some room and stumbles up to the 38-yard line. He was tripped up by Tursky.
It might have been
gets up a little gimpy on the play.
Looks like a little busted play. I think it might have been a handoff that they missed. And he keeps it and turns it into a positive play. That's what I like about this quarterback, Brian.
Gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. Garrett George around the left side has a first down inside the 35-yard line.
Another first down. Hey, putting together a drive with no penalties. Hang on to the ball.
Tyler Johnson over to make the stop.
Mount Gilead is trying to work themselves back into the ball game.
Fresh set of downs for the Indians. Keenan's going to keep it. And he gets maybe a yard to about the 32.
Mount Gilead is relying on their run game right now. Little misdirection. I like where they're going. If you want to build confidence in an offense, run the ball down another team's throat. Just keep running it.
2nd down and 9. Keenan now back to throw. They swing it out. Not much after the catch by Davis. And it brings up a 3rd and long. And Mount Gilead quickly trying to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And Mount Gilead, as you said, Brian, is 3rd and long, but they got 2 plays to make it. They've got to get a touchdown here.
2 receivers to each side of the formation. Keenan. And it's incomplete. He was looking for Chafin. And that'll bring up 4th down, and the offense is going to stay on the field for the Indians.
And this is one of the key plays of the game. Right now, Mount Gilead's got them on the run. They're moving the stakes. Comes down to a 4th down. You need this first down.
4th and 7 from the Centerburg 30. Keenan looks right side. It's tipped up, and it's going to be picked off. Hunter Parker comes down with it, and he's run out of bounds. The ball, they were trying to go to Butterman, and the ball was tipped up, and another turnover. And Centerburg gets the ball back.
And what's that old theory that Woody Hayes used to say? When you throw the football, there's only one good thing that can happen. Everything else is bad, and that was a problem.
Centerburg gets the ball at midfield. And a fresh set of downs for Centerburg after the 4th turnover for Mount Gilead. Gregory. And he had a wide open Kalen Lamaster, and he underthrows him.
Centerburg has missed on their last 6 passes.
That one was wide open. 2nd down and 10. Like we might have an equipment problem as Evan Merklin is running off the field, and he'll be replaced by Jesse Rings.
As soon as that whistle blew, I was looking for the flag.
Jared Rings goes in motion to the far side. They give it to Johnson, and he is tripped up at the line of scrimmage. A nice job of penetration by Ben Witt, and it's now 3rd and 10.
That Mount Gilead defensive front's shutting down the run a little bit this half.
But Gregory is dangerous through the air. 3rd and 10 from midfield. Gregory steps up, fires. It's caught. 1st down. Hunter Parker and then some. All the way to the house for a touchdown. 50 yards. A flag is down after the play, but the touchdown is going to stand.
Holy moly, what a play.
50 yards on the pass to Hunter Parker. The 2nd touchdown pass on the night for Gregory.
And boy, does that knock the wind out of your sails.
It'll be unsportsmanlike conduct called against Centerburg, excuse me. I forgot for a second where we are.
I think the penalty will go on the kickoff. That's their 12th penalty.
Margot on to attempt the extra point. Gregory gets it down. Kick is up, and it is good. 35-7. 6:17 to go in the 3rd quarter. Is another look at the touchdown. That was a throw in traffic, and Hunter Parker hauls it in.
When you have speed and you have some gifted athletes, anytime they get behind your secondary, you got a problem. And there it was.
Touchdown reception number 2 on the season for Hunter Parker.
Now they should enforce the penalty here. Here he goes, marching it off.
Be 15 yards all the way back to the 25. So Mount Gilead should have decent field position here. They now trail 35-7, 6:17 to go in the third quarter. Butterman and Chafin back deep. Butterman from the 32. And he returns it up to the 43, a return of 11. And that's where Centerburg will take over with 6:09 to go in the third quarter. Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Centerburg High School, where the Trojans are taking on Mount Gilead. 35-7, 6:09 to go in the third quarter.
And we've been talking a lot about this Centerburg offense, but their defense is playing well, only giving up one score.
They have forced 4 turnovers. One of them led directly to a touchdown. Actually, it was on special teams. Matthew Bland with the carry.
Davis on the carry, taken by Lemaster.
Or it was Davis, number 16, excuse me. Loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11. Keenan. Looks like they were going to run the option to the left side. He tries to cut back, and Evan Merklin tackles him in the backfield.
And when you take away the pitch, man, all you have left is a quarterback, and the Centerburg defense pursued to him.
When you look at the nucleus of this team that Mike Reed has, his quarterback is a junior. Davis is a sophomore. Garrett George is a junior. Owen High is a junior. So they've got pieces that he's going to have for a while. There he tries to catch Butterman. Butterman is a senior, so they will lose him.
And you don't get you get better in practice, but you become a football team during games. And right now, Mount Gilead is going through a growing spurt. They're learning how to play football. They're learning how to play as a team. You're finding out who your leaders are out there. Your quarterback's a leader. You're developing this year for next year.
And on the other side of that, Andy Colella really has this program going where he wants it to go, and they're focused right now on getting themselves better for a playoff spot. Hunter Parker with the fair catch at the 25, and one of the things that they're going to have to clean up is the penalties. They've had too many of those tonight.
Yeah, when you start getting into the playoffs and you start getting down to crunch time, game 9 and game 10, penalties will lose you a ball game. So, and I'm sure when these guys get into the film room and you start breaking down that film and you're reviewing it, they're going to go over it. Good coaches, they can clean it up.
Andy Colella made an interesting comment to me this week when I was talking to him. He said they've had 3 teams in school history that have gone undefeated, but none of them won playoff games.
Yep. Nice second effort by the back.
So he said even though they have 2 losses this season, they can be focused and they can start to prepare themselves for the postseason. Right now they're 12th in the Division 6 Region 23 playoff poll. The top 16 teams get in, so they're in good shape. Gregory swings it out. He was looking for Hunter Parker on the near side, and they're not a one-dimensional team. They can run the ball with Lemaster, obviously, and Tyler Johnson, and Gregory has a cannon for an arm. There he's just a little inaccurate on that throw.
They're misclicking, but it's something that can be worked on. That's why they call it practice. You work on these plays in practice.
3rd down and 8. Pass caught on the far side by Rings. That's a first down as he makes some tacklers miss, gets up across the 40 to the 43. And I ask him, as they prepare for a team like Mount Gilead, who historically has struggled, how do you feel about your team maybe overlooking them? And he made an interesting point. He said his players, and they brought this to him, he said they don't even like to refer to the team by their names. They like to just call them the opponent, and they do that every week regardless of who they're playing. And he said that is something that they do to keep them from overlooking teams. And tonight they have made some mistakes, but they're out 35-7 with 3:46 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, they have a good team. They have a very good team. One of the problems they're going to run into in the playoffs, if you're at the bottom of the making it into playoffs, you got to play one of the top teams.
And you got to play on the road.
And you're going to play on the road, and that's a tough gig.
2nd down and 7 from the 45. Gregory swings it out. This is Tyler Johnson. Johnson with room inside the 35. He's out of bounds. And he was looking to streak down the near sideline, but he just stepped out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. Tyler Johnson, who their leading rusher coming into tonight's game, but he's given up the spotlight tonight to Kalen LeMaster.
It's kind of amazing. Little throw, a 5-yard pass gives you 30 yards.
The jet sweep. That's Jesse Rings still on his feet. Down to the 20, and they're going to start to wear down this Mount Gilead defense now here with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. This team not one-dimensional. They can run it from the backfield. They can run the jet sweep. They can throw it.
When you have speed on your team, you can do anything. Anything you want.
Quick throw. This one's caught by Merklin. Touchdown Centerburg from 20 yards out. So Gregory with his 3rd touchdown pass of the game. .245 to go in the third, and Centerburg pulling away. Extra point is up, and it is good.
Point after by Margo is good.
So with 2:45 to go in the third, it's all Centerburg, 42-7. The 3rd touchdown pass of the night by Jack Gregory. This one going to Evan Merklin.
And I think we're running into a running clock situation here, Brian.
It's the first touchdown reception of the season for Merklin. There you see the replay of Merklin finding the end zone.
At this point of the game, when you're behind as far as Mount Gilead is right now, all the coach wants to do is have a successful drive. You want to build a little confidence in your team. You don't want to do anything outrageous. You don't want to try and throw the ball deep and make something happen. You want to build confidence in your team, put together a running drive, throw the ball when you have to, move the stakes.
You also want to see how your team plays down the stretch. Who is going to keep playing? This is where your character is developed. Butterman from the 15. Breaks away from a tackle, gets up to the 30. And he's out of bounds at about the 35-yard line.
And that's what I like to see. Mount Gilead's still fighting out there, trying to get every yard they can.
Mike Reed told me Paul Butterman is a guy who, and you hear this cliche all the time, but he leaves it on the field. He spends every bit of effort and energy, and it's contagious. He is one of the leaders of this team as a senior. Change at quarterback. Elijah Chafin now in the backfield. Chafin is a sophomore, and he'll look to run. Gets up across the 40. He's going to be close to a first down at the 45. So it'll be a fresh set of downs for Mount Gilead. He has completed 5 of 8 passes on the season. That's 63% for 144 yards, a couple touchdowns. He is sophomore. Chafin back to throw. And that one is caught on the far side by Owen High. Doesn't have quite the long ball that Keenan has. He's a little quicker. Reed really likes his quarterback room. He really likes both of these guys, and obviously he's going to have Chafin for 3 years. Chafin steps up, can't get away from the pressure, though, and he's dumped in the backfield. Evan Merklin, who just scored the touchdown, now he gets a sack and forces a 3rd and long for Mount Gilead.
Yeah, Centerburg's bringing pressure from the outside. When you send a lot of receivers out, you lose a blocker, and he had a free run right at the quarterback.
Centerburg smells blood now. 3rd down and 10. Chafin with the crossing pattern. It's caught. And Butterman lunges forward. Let's see where they spot the ball. Looks like it's going to be short, a couple of yards short, as they spot it at the 47. Maybe the 46, but he needed to get to the 45 for a first down. It's going to be 4th. Well, now they're going to go back to the 47. So the offense will stay on the field down 42-7. And they may let this clock just wind down at 15 seconds to go before the start of the 4th quarter. And Mount Gilead will head to the final period down 42-7. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
You want top joint replacement surgery. Knox Community Hospital delivers with 3 fellowship-trained surgeons and coveted national rankings for 4 years running, all to help you beat the pain and heal faster. At Knox Community Hospital, we're elevating care.
When you're on the go and need a fix, both for your body and your vehicle, stop in at Webb's Marathon and Automotive, celebrating 20 years of service at 164 East Main Street in Centerburg. Family owned and operated with premium products and services. So make it Webb's and get what you need to keep your engines running.
Mount Gilead down 42-7 as we head to the 4th quarter. They have a 4th and 1 at the Centerburg 47-yard line. Chafin comes up under center. Going to follow the interior of that line, and they're going to get the first down.
Nice line surge. Nice blocking by your offensive line.
I like the call by Mike Reed. That's just a challenge to your line. And they respond and get a first down.
We used to call that the wedge. You get toe-to-toe, and whoever gets the lowest, they win.
So a fresh set of downs for the Indians. Chafin back to throw, swings it out. Butterman at the 40. It's wrapped up by Hunter Parker, but Butterman not going to go down easily. He's down to the 35-yard line, close to another first down, but he's going to be, I think, about a yard shy to be 2nd and 1.
3 consecutive pass completions in a row for the young quarterback.
Not as big as Keenan. Chafin at 6'1", 160. Chafin steps up. Fires. It's going to be caught by Butterman. Did he stay in bounds? They're going to say he caught it and did a nice tightrope act on the far sideline, and Mount Gilead in scoring range.
Moving the ball.
Watch the throw and the catch by Butterman, and the presence of mind by Butterman to keep his feet in bounds. What a catch by Paul Butterman.
NFL play.
1st and 10 at the 12. Chafin pumps, fires, it's incomplete. The clock will continue to move because of the score.
It's got to be nice to have two quarterbacks getting playing time to build for your team next year.
Reed told me there was a little bit of a quarterback competition, and he likes that. He likes the idea. It brings out the best in both guys. Chafin going to run. And he breaks a couple tackles, gets inside the 5, and finally forced out of bounds. Going to be first and goal Indians. And Chafin, the sophomore, did not want to go down.
Big hit at the line. Somebody's hurt on the sidelines, and one of the things about running your quarterback, you always have that fear he's going to get hurt.
Can't see over there, and I'm wondering if it's Chafin.
Yeah, it looks
yeah,
like
he
it.
is, but he's up. So he's walking back to the sideline as he took a pop as he was getting that first down yardage. It's first and goal. Here you see him again on the replay.
Big hit in the goal line. Bam!
That's what you want to see. You can't tell he's down 42-7. He is fighting to get into the end zone. It's first and goal from the 2. So Keenan will come back out and take the snap on first and goal. Garrett George in the backfield. They're going to do it again. And they're going to push, and do they get in? Well, Mount Gilead says they have it. I haven't seen a signal from the official. Yes, they do get in. Touchdown, Mount Gilead.
Touchdown, Indians.
So with 9:20 to go in the game, a 2-yard touchdown run by Carter Keenan. And the extra point is up and good. So the score is now 42-14.
Point after by Lamb Hart is good.
And you saw some potential in that drive, especially when Chafin came in. They moved the ball. He threw the ball very well. He ran the ball well.
And you mentioned this earlier. They're not giving up. Mount Gilead is giving everything they can. They're going to leave it on the field. All this is going to do is prepare them for the next game. You get better during the game.
I asked Andy Colella when he saw this team on film, what's the difference between this team and teams of the past? And he said they compete. He said they come out and they compete.
Yep. Doesn't matter what the score is. They're going to step up, play tough defense. They're not going to lay down. And they just proved it to you there. 2-quarterback system.
So Garrett Lamb Hart will kick off with 9:20 to go. Oh, and that guy, Kalen LeMaster, is back there at the 10.
And he's the only one back there. It's kind of hard to kick away from him. They do
they're
their
going to do it
best.
anyway. Excuse me.
Fair catch called for.
Hunter Parker catches it at the 25. They want nothing to do with Kalen LeMaster, and I don't blame them.
No, that young man's kind of set the field on fire tonight.
He does not have a kickoff return for a touchdown this season.
I'm pretty sure it's going to happen before he graduates.
Oh, by the way, he's only a sophomore.
Timeout, Mount Gilead.
9:10 to go. Centerburg with a 42-14 lead. Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Centerburg High School. And Mount Gilead they've got a lot of work to do, but they're showing some flashes here. But they're just up against a better team. And tonight, Centerburg taking care of business, up 42-14.
And the one thing I like so far, how many flags have we seen thrown, Brian?
Not a whole lot here in the fourth quarter.
And I like that. It's kind of like we're letting them play. We're letting them get it out. The first half we had 17 flags, I think, were thrown. It kind of takes the momentum away from your team. It turns into an ugly ball game. But right now it's a very clean ball game. Both teams are playing well.
So what's next for Centerburg? They'll host Danville next week before ending the regular season at Northmore and at Fredericktown. And for Mount Gilead, the Indians will host Northmore next week. Then they entertain Danville before ending the regular season at rival Cardington. There's LeMaster around the right side. And he gets up to about the 38-yard line before he's finally tackled by Garrett Lamb-Hart.
LeMaster on the carry, tackled by Lamb-Hart. First down, Trojans.
The young man's touched the ball 11 times, has 142 yards.
Pretty good numbers for the night for the sophomore.
Those are good numbers for anybody.
Gregory swings it out, caught by Rings. And Rings after the catch. Going to go untouched down the far sideline.
61 yards. 61 yard. Excuse me, 62.
The fourth touchdown throw on the night for Gregory. And with all the attention going to Kalen LeMaster, he's like, don't forget about me. I can throw the ball around the yard.
He's throwing it for 308 yards. He's doing it good.
So they answer the Mount Gilead touchdown with 8:33 to go. Nice touchdown run down the far sideline.
They have speed all over the field, Brian.
Jared Rings, 4 touchdown passes, 4 different receivers. And that's been Gregory's MO all season long. He spreads the ball around very well. Hunter Parker's got a touchdown reception. Merklin's got a touchdown reception. Rings does, as well as Garrett LeMaster.
And then when they run the ball, LeMaster's got them all.
So Centerburg now up 49-14. So the Indians will get the ball back. Down by 35. Butterman from the 8. And Butterman fights for yardage up to the 29-yard line. Let's see if Elijah Chafin comes back out as the quarterback. And he will. So Mike Reed will let him finish the ball game, it appears. Centerburg's going to get their second win in a row. Chafin eludes the pressure, lofts it to Butterman, and a nice catch, and a flag is down at midfield.
And we hate to see that, but that's going to be an interference call.
Hunter Parker back on coverage. And as we see the replay here, this was a nice attempt by Butterman.
Kind of pushed him in the back, caused a little problem. Right there.
Nope, did fall incomplete, but they're going to call pass interference.
I had an old coach in high school ball. If you get beat and the guy's going to score a touchdown if he catches it, tackle him. And if you tackle him, it's a 10-yard gain. So instead of giving up the touchdown because he was beat deep, tackle him, knock him down, and go from there.
So it's a first down to the 44-yard line for Mount Gilead. Garrett George breaks away around the right side, down inside the 50-yard line to about the 48 before he's shoved out of bounds.
Tell you, that young man runs hard. He runs low to the ground. Doesn't have the blazing speed that Centerburg has, but when you hit him, you know you've hit him like a Mack truck.
Came into the game with 328 yards rushing, did Garrett George. Flag down to the backfield, and Chafin runs out of bounds. It's about the neighborhood of a hold.
Yep, that's what it is. Hold on Mount Gilead. That's their 12th penalty for 105 yards. That's the length of the field, 100 yards.
So another 10-yard penalty.
Because of the 30-point rule, the clock continues to run.
Penalty will take the ball back to the 40. Chafin to throw on 2nd and 14. Ball tip falls incomplete. He was looking for Logan High.
Did a nice job, got away from the rush, but unless you're out on that field and you have somebody bigger than you chasing you who wants to put you on the ground, it's a tough feeling to throw the ball. Tough situation to throw.
Jesse Rings back on coverage. Rings, a sophomore. Butterman can't haul it in at the 40. It'll bring up 4th down.
Pass intended for Butterman is incomplete. Brings up 4th and 14.
So they'll bring the punting unit out with a 4th and 14 from their own 40. And they're just going to try to pin Centerburg with 4:30 to go.
This is the time Centerburg starts checking out their second-team players, put some other people in the ball game, get them that on-field experience.
Hunter Parker back to receive the punt for Centerburg. He's at about the 26-yard line. Going to take a Mount Gilead roll inside the 20 and be down just inside the 15. And that'll stop the clock with 4 minutes to go. And this is well in control for Centerburg. They're going to go to 4-2, 2-2 in the KMAC, and Mount Gilead will drop to 2-5, and they are winless in the KMAC at 0-4.
This is where Centerburg wants to pull the starters out. The last thing you want to do is get a star player hurt when you have a route on.
New quarterback in for Centerburg. It's Isaiah Sully. They'll stay on the ground with the jet sweep. That's Trevin Harris. And Harris gets about 6 yards across the 20 down to the 22. So that momentum that Andy Colella was talking about as they head to the postseason, they've taken a step in that direction tonight with their 4th win of the season, but they've got some things, too, that they have to clean up.
Yeah, the too many penalties, got to take care of the ball a little bit. But I like what I've seen out here tonight. I like their team. I like how they can throw the ball or run the ball. They can score anywhere from the field. Another flag on the play, 5-yard penalty.
This one will be marched off against the Trojans.
Ball start on the Trojans.
And for Mount Gilead, it's just to continue to learn on the field as you end the season.
And one thing you talked about earlier with me was that Mount Gilead, their programs, it's down. And how do you build it back up? How do you get it back to the top? And you mentioned how many seasons have they gone without winning? And it's tough. People do not understand. It's not going to change overnight.
Mount Gilead hasn't had a 500 record in 11 years, and they've not enjoyed a winning season since they went 7-3 back in 2004.
And that's tough. And for a new head coach comes in with a new offense, you just got to believe in your kids, believe in what you're doing.
Well, they're also putting in a new system. They're putting in the spread. He's got some young kids to build around. And I asked him, I said, he talked about retiring before he got the call from Mount Gilead. And I looked at him, I said, so are you in this for the long haul? And he smiled. He goes, yes. He goes, I'm here. I want to be a part of that change. So that's a commitment that he's made to his alma mater and to these kids.
And we saw glimpses of it tonight, Brian.
We saw glimpses of it.
Yep, we saw what the offense can do. They can move it. They got to quit the penalties. They got to knock the turnovers out.
And you saw some effort and competitiveness against a very good Centerburg team, and that's really how you gauge where you are.
You don't improve yourself by going out and beating up a team that's not as good as you. And Mount Gilead is in a situation where they got to play competition, and that competition's got to show them where the weaknesses are and what do we have to develop and get better at.
And both of these coaches told me there's not an easy out in the KMAC. When you look top to bottom, you're going to get everybody's best effort night in and night out. Now, obviously, you have your better teams, but even the bottom part of the KMAC, they're competitive.
It is. And any given night, you make the wrong mistake, somebody gets hurt, you lose a player, a key player, you could be at the very bottom.
And you also have to give Centerburg a lot of credit. I mean, Mount Gilead was in this game in the second quarter, and they did what they had to do to make plays. And that's what a winning program does, and that's what Kalila has built here at Centerburg. This is a team that last year they were 6-1. They won the KMAC, going 5-0 in the conference. Their only blemish was their playoff loss to Loudonville. Kalila was the conference coach of the year last year. And even though they've got the 2 losses this year, he has this team focused on getting to the postseason. Mount Gilead stays on the ground. Another carry by Davis. Again, Davis, a sophomore. He has seen a lot of action tonight. The chains move with 10 seconds to go, and Mount Gilead may get one more play. Or they're not even going to bother to run that play.
Going to let it run out, and the game is over.
So Mount Gilead falls to Centerburg, an impressive win for the Trojans, 49-14. We'll be back with our player of the game and the Knox Community Hospital postgame show coming up after this. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
Want top joint replacement surgery? Knox Community Hospital delivers with 3 fellowship-trained surgeons and coveted national rankings for 4 years running, all to help you beat the pain and heal faster. At Knox Community Hospital, we're elevating care.
When you're on the go and need a fix, both for your body and your vehicle, stop in at Webb's Marathon and Automotive, celebrating 20 years of service at 164 East Main Street in Centerburg. Family owned and operated with premium products and services. So make it Webb's and get what you need to keep your engines running.
Welcome to the Knox Community Hospital postgame show. I am Brian Harder, and we're joined by tonight's RE/MAX Peak Player of the Game, sophomore Kaylin Lemaster. And you did a little bit of everything tonight. Scored 4 touchdowns, 11 carries, 142 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. 2 receptions, 21 yards, another touchdown. And then you add a fumble recovery to that. You had a pretty busy night.
I say so.
Talk about the first couple touchdowns you scored. You guys came out, and it looked like you wanted to establish the run early.
We did. That was just our pregame. We knew what we wanted to do, and my offensive line came out, did the stuff that they had to do. I saw my lanes, I made my cuts, and then what happened.
Now, what adjustments did they make that you guys weren't able to run as effectively, but then you've got Jack Gregory back there who can throw the ball around the yard?
At first, they were over-pursuing, so that's why I had my cutbacks, and then they settled down a bit, so I didn't really have as much cutbacks. And then they brought more people up, and they were playing man, so it opened up the pass game.
You guys got up by the 2 quick scores, and then they scored and made it a 7-point ball game, but it looked like you guys really didn't panic.
Yeah, coach stresses like a lot in practice. We just have to stay calm, play our game. Don't let them influence that.
Coach Colella told me something this week that I found interesting. He said that you guys, and this came from you players, talked about not really calling your opponents by their name, so you guys don't really overlook people. You just go by calling them the opponent.
Yeah, we stress like a lot, just playing our game and not playing what they like. Don't let them influence us, and practicing how we practice as hard as we can every week.
Now you guys get, I believe it was your 3rd touchdown, and then on the kickoff, tell me what was going through your mind as you saw Butterman trying to fight for extra yardage.
Just don't let them get outside, and then I saw the ball come out, and I was like, touchdown.
Well, congratulations. You did a little bit of everything. We thought you were going to break a kickoff return there for a second. Was that going through your mind?
Yeah, had to run a little bit faster for that.
Well, congratulations on the big win. Congratulations on being our player of the game, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That's Kaylin Lemaster, the sophomore, one of the offensive weapons for the Centerburg Trojans. He did a little bit of everything tonight, scoring 4 touchdowns, and they get a convincing win over Mount Gilead here at home by a score of 49-14. And, Coach, this was one of those games that when you come into it and you're trying to rebuild like Mount Gilead is, you don't look forward to coming into places like this and playing a team like Centerburg for that reason, because they've got the personnel and they're dangerous.
Centerburg, I'm really impressed with them. I haven't seen them. I don't think I've ever seen a Centerburg game. Well, we did one, at East Knox and stuff, but I'll tell you what, they've really become a pretty good football team. They got speed. They got a quarterback that can throw the ball. You're at Centerburg. You've got the home field, and they played up to it. They played up to the billing.
Well, and you take a look at the final numbers. The first half was a little bit, I don't even want to say sluggish for them offensively. but they really opened up the passing game, especially in the second half. They roll up 481 yards of total offense, 308 through the air, and they cruise. Now, the ugly number, if you're Andy Colella, is the 11 penalties, but you're able to force 4 turnovers.
Right, and when you have penalties, are you able to overcome them? And he has a football team that can overcome them. But you're right. Coaches talk about an ugly game. And it was ugly with all the flags being thrown. We had like 20-some flags thrown over the game. But I'll tell you what, it was a good ball game. I saw a team that I think can make a pretty good run into the playoffs.
Now, and they did a lot of this tonight without Tyler Johnson running the ball, and it looks like they may have settled on moving Johnson around a little bit. They had him at a wing. They were able to spell LeMaster in the backfield with him, but it looked like LeMaster might be the guy going forward.
Yeah, you put him at tailback. He's got the speed. He's got the vision on the field, and he talked about that, cutting back, running against the grain. And he made some big things happen out there for this football team. And he's a breakaway player. He can score from anywhere on the field, but by taking somebody else and moving them to another position, you're just loading the gun.
With the win, Centerburg is now 4-2. They're 2-2 in the KMAC, and Mount Gilead drops to 2-5. They're 0-4 in conference play. The final score tonight, Centerburg 49 and Mount Gilead 14. Our thanks to tonight's broadcast team. Our producer was Adam Thompson, and the fine camera work courtesy of Jennifer Emberg. Most of all, our thanks to you for joining us. Once again, the final score, Centerburg 49 and Mount Gilead 14. You've been watching high school football live and free on the OH Report, powered by BS Media Productions, the future of local sports. For Bruce Wyrick, I'm Brian Harder. So long from Centerburg.